Hello friends and welcome. Before we continue on my father's 1956 gravely that's burning the oil, I have a job here that I would like to get done, and I didn't think of it, but I should have gotten it done in the spring before the trees all bloomed. But my plan is, the problem is, first of all, that I ran out of room to dump. You know, I do spring cleanup and stuff. So as it was this year, I had the trailer on one of the Graveleys, and I dumped on this dirt hill here. And what I plan to do right now is, I want to put the cultivator on the 1961 Postal Gravely. And I want to try to dig this out from the fence over to, you know, like a little more than trailer width. Mr. and Mrs. Gopher's Hole, I'm going to stay away from that. And I have a couple of trees that I have to cut down here. So I'll be using the electric chainsaw. I have something growing out of here, which goes up here. And what the problem is, I don't like cutting anything that's alive, but it's interfering with the big tree there. Everything's growing into everything here. I'm also going to have to cut this down over here. I don't know how high up it goes. And I don't know how tangled it is. I don't think it's too tangled up in there. This is all poison ivy here. So I have my hoodie on. I'll be wearing gloves. I don't know whether to use my electric hedge cutter and cut this, or just do it by hand real quick and cut this down. So I would like just to get the cultivator and get this to where it doesn't have to be perfectly level. It could be a little bit of a slope going up, and make a path here to where when I dump, it'll just roll down the hill here. So I don't know how long that'll last, you know, how much room there'll be, but I'm sure there'll be a lot, because that goes down, it's hard to tell probably on camera, it goes down pretty far there. So, alright, so in the meantime, I'm going to have to get the cultivator on the Gravely. I'll put the trailer on the 73 Gravely probably. The last time I used the chainsaw, I never cleaned it. It's a plug-in electric chainsaw. For the little bit of an amount that I need to use the chainsaw or the hedge trimmer, I just went with plug-in. Like my weed whacker has to be a 2-stroke. Because I run that for hours at a time. So alright, so I'll get back to you once we get started. I have to plan out how we're going to do this. Alright, so I got the cultivator on the 61 Postal Gravely. Lisa's mother on Memorial Day gave me a flag for my birthday. So I figured it would go well on the Postal Gravely here. I put the trailer on the 73 here. I cleaned up the chainsaw real good, and I put a chainsaw oil in, and I have the hedge trimmer here and a couple other garden tools we might need. Lisa gave me this extension cord she got for $5 at a yard sale. It's like brand new. I think it is brand new. And we'll head down, and I think I'm going to trim that poison ivy off the camera. I don't know if I'm going to do it by hand. I'll put the manual hedge clippers on the trailer and bring them down too. Try not to be dangerous and reckless like I tend to do. I'm just going to try to cut. I want to try not to cross the fence. So I know it's just take a little bit. about the dangerous and silliness I do. I think we got a shot of. And that's because it's caught up in all the roots and everything. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to have to cut this up. I got a spot where I could throw the branches. So I just cut this part up that I just cut down here. What happened was that because it was caught in those roots, when I got through it, it almost hit me in the head. So. Alright, we got one more tree I want to cut. You see how that goes. I don't know how tangled up that is. But we'll see. I think this one's really going to be dangerous. Well, I don't know how much of this lunacy you're able to see, but be very careful when you're cutting trees, even small trees, especially when they're tangled. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is I'll clean this mess up off camera. I'll go start up the 61 Postal Gravely. That still has the gas in it from when I made a video on it too. From when I cultivated up by the storage to level everything off there, it was a mess. It was a hill. It was just a mess. So I don't know what we're in store for as far as digging anything up here. We dug up a lot of metal and all kinds of stuff up there. Big rocks. Not really, really big rocks, but big enough. So. One thing I could tell you is to keep your legs away from the handlebars, because the handlebar kicked right into my thigh. That should hurt for about 2 months. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the out the 73 C8 with the trailer. And I'm going to start throwing some dirt on the trailer. And I'll probably just end up throwing it on a hill over these leaves and everything here. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. I'll do that off camera. The Gravely with the Cultivator started up first pull. I have to look back on my videos to see when we used the cultivator up by the storage. I'll leave a link to that video in case anybody wants to see it. Anyway, I did use the cultivator a little bit more before. So what I need to do is just shovel this loose dirt. It's loosening everything really nice. So it's working out good. It doesn't have to be a perfect level thing there. It could be a little bit of an incline. I don't care about that. But I want to try to get it as flat as possible. The Gravely trailer works great. I dumped a couple of loads here, right along here with it, and I just raked it out with the iron rake. I can't go any higher with the trailer because if I go to dump it, then the whole thing, I can't dump. So, alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump this load. I'm going to shovel some more of this up here, and then we'll start breaking into the big part of the hill there. And I figure there's plenty of room to back in over here and dump. It's only leaves, it's all biodegradable. I don't dump any garbage or anything like that. Just so it could go between that tree and then the other tree over there. That'll be fine. I'll dump it, and then I could always take the Gravely snow plow and just push it down the hill more if I ever have to. Alright. Alright, so I gotta deal with that now. I gave myself 2 days that requires no rain. So today's the first day. Took me a few hours to get everything ready. I had to pull everything out of the storage to get the cultivator on the Postal Gravely here. So, I mean, we made pretty good progress for the amount of hours that I worked on it. Alright, so I'm going to deal with that rope that got caught in there, and then I'll let's say I'll get back to you if there's anything more exciting going through that hill there. Alright, so I have a little bit of change of plans here. We're going to be using the snowplow on the C8, and I'll use low range. I'm not putting the dual wheels on it. Hopefully I can get through it without any problems. So I still gotta pull the loose dirt off here, and I got into the hill pretty good there. You also saw I dug up the that rope. I had to take the pivot nut and bolt out so I could turn the rototiller so I could get the rope out. That wasn't too much of a big deal. And we also pulled out those 2 big blocks. So I don't know what else, what other surprises we're gonna have. All right, so I'll do a little bit of plowing first, and I'll just push everything up on the hill here. It would be a whole bunch easier with the dual wheels, but I can manage with it. I'll be back to you. Okay, so we're moving along pretty good here. There's a couple of problems. I have to hack this out some more here. That board right there, if I can't pick it up, I'll just cut it with the chainsaw right there. No problem there. There's a piece of a tree here that I cut. I'll just dig out the dirt and I'll cut that with the chainsaw. And another problem is this here, where I cut this off here. It's pretty solid, but I still have to gouge this out over here. I'll get as far down as I can with the cultivator, and maybe I'll have to hack that with the chainsaw. I'll see, maybe if I could get some of the roots, maybe I could just get that to pull out. I'm not sure. And then we have this tree here. I'm just going to have to trim some branches off here to make room to... I just plan on, you know, when I dump the load, just push it down there. I could do that with the plow if I have to. And I could push some down there to... This is all dead area down in here in the woods. So, alright, so if anything more exciting comes up, I mean, this wasn't too bad. There's a couple of rocks in there, but nothing like these blocks over here. These are nice blocks. I'll keep them. Because when we do projects on the tractor, when I cover it with the tarp, this holds the tarp down good. I put it down on the side of the tarp. And I think this video is going to be long. But, alright, so I'm going to get the cultivator and try to get that out some more. This slope here, I think I might dig some more out of it and make it a little more level. It's not that bad. I mean, I could back the trailer up there real good and everything, but I'll see how I feel about that. Okay, so the last bit we have to do is have to trim some branches off that tree back there. This way when I back the trailer in over there, I gotta watch I don't go off the cliff either. I might put a marker there or something, but I'll be able to back in and it'll be all clear. I'll just trim some branches around there. I didn't tell you before, but I'm using it's a Remington electric chainsaw. I'll pull this all the way off camera. I got a spot up over the hill I can throw it over. That's Mr. and Mrs. Groundhog's hole. I misspoke in the beginning of the video, but his hole is safe. I don't know where it leads to, but we always have an entrance and an exit anyway. But he's safe. Shove this over. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed the video. It took all of about, I don't know, I think I got about 10 hours. And 5 hours yesterday, 5 hours today. Thank God for the Graveleys. They're little machines, but boy, can they do some really heavy work. So I'll be able to safely back in there with my trailer and dump now. I want to thank everybody for watching. I'll see you all on the next one, and take care.